I'm Alexander. I'm the technical director of Studio Fizbin, and what we do is basically that what's written on there. We do 2D games and animation, and I'll just give you a quick glimpse of stuff we did. This is a very old trailer of our studio, but I think it's just like seeing what stuff we did and have fun. So yes, this is Studio Fizbin, and you've seen a lot of stuff there that is stuff that has nothing to do with the inner world, but shows just the animation we did. And also there were some very old clips from the inner world. But yeah, the question is what defines us as a studio. So we we had trouble finding the spirit of the whole thing, and we were like 2 weeks or something like that thinking about, okay, how can we describe our company in just one sentence. And yeah, finally we came up with this. And what this means is like we're passionate about original character driven worlds. So we want to tell stories that are in very different worlds of ours, but the worlds are very much character driven. So every aspect of the world will be expressed through the characters that are inhabitants of this world. And yeah, we did this with our first game, The Inner World, and we'll keep doing this with our other games. And but we also did it with the animation stuff we did. I'm gonna show you later on. So now that you know, or you just got an idea of what Studio Fizbin is, let me show you who is Studio Fizbin. So Studio Fizbin are basically these three guys. Get it over here. So that is Sebastian, that's me, and that's Mareike. And back to the microphone. Yeah, we founded our company like 2 years ago, and it was right after our diploma and the end of our studies. So I met these beautiful girl and this handsome man at my studies, and yeah, we started developing the story universe of the inner world while we were studying. And then we thought like, okay, what can we do with that? And we thought, hey, we want to tell the story of this world. We want to tell the story of Robert, and the main character of our game. And then we thought, hey, we could work together. And we were like, yeah, that could be a good idea. Let's think about that. And then when we were some night out drinking together, we were like, yeah, we should totally create a company. And that's what happened. So yeah, and we created the company, and as I said, 2011, right after the studies. And then we were like, hey, yay, we want to do our game, we want to tell stories, blah, blah, blah. But of course, we needed to get some contract work and, yeah, to have some possibilities to earn money and keep the studio alive. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of the stuff we did for other people. Yeah. So this is a game for iOS. It's called Tom's Welt, or Tom's World. And it's based on a famous, well, famous for little children, animated series called Tom und das Erdbeermarmeladebrot mit Honig. On English, it's like Tom and the leaf of bread with strawberry jam and honey. Very complicated, but kids love it. So we did the iOS app for them, and then we did an animated video clip for the Libraries Association in Germany, where the letters in the books talk and tell the user why being in a library is so great. So this is another story-driven, you know, again here we created a universe, and it's like, okay, this is the library, and there are the books, and the letters talk. So we created the characters, and the whole world is told through the characters. So we also did a contract work for one of the most famous newspapers in Germany, Die Welt. And they have like Die Welt am Sonntag. It's a Sunday newspaper, and we did an animated clip for them as well. So, but I'm not here to talk about other stuff. I'm here to talk about the inner world. I told you that we developed this so-called story universe, the inner world, while we were studying. So, what is the story universe, and what is it good for? Well, we created some sort of IP Bible. What the heck is an IP Bible? Well, an IP Bible is like a book where you define all the specialities about your world, about your universe you create, right? And going from this book, or as we call it, the Bible for the IP, who does not know what an IP is? And I do not mean the network thingy. Everybody here understands what an IP is. Okay, what? Yeah, cool. So and from this Bible, when you have like it's like a receipt, you know, a cookbook. You can do games from that. You can do a series, a board game, comic, whatever. You can tell stories about that, and that's what the inner world is all about. It's about telling stories. And actually, we have the game that's on Steam and PC Mac and iOS, and we're actually working on a concept for an animated series that's going well so far. We also have a board game that's not released yet, but we some students made a prototype for it. And yeah, the comic is the last thing that did not work out. So the question is, why did we think about an IP Bible and a story universe instead of making directly a game? Well, the answer to that is synergies. You know, for example, the gamer watches the series and he thinks, oh, that's pretty funny stuff. And when he realizes, oh, I want to know more about this universe, he can get it with the game, for example, yeah? And this goes the other way around. Someone, for example, who does not play games but watches the series and thinks, oh, that's a totally interesting world. I want to know more about it. Because maybe he gets some hints that, oh, there's a game. So, oh yeah, there's the translation. Sorry for that. So, yeah, there's some synergies going around, you know. I mean, for example, maybe you are not into games and series at all. But if you play the board game and think, oh, that's a really funny concept with the whole inner world stuff, yeah, and the characters are very great and interesting, I want to know more about them. So maybe he sees the inner world, there's a game also, or hey, there's a series I can watch. So he can just enjoy more of the story universe and of the characters he loves on other mediums. That's for the consumer side, the benefits of this universe stuff where we create different products from. But on the other side, in the production, of course, we do character design once, you know, and we can use this character in all the different medias. So, for example, Peck, our pigeon, is one of the most famous characters ever created, I think, and he could be in the game. He actually is also in the animated series. I'm not allowed to show you the trailer. We got a 1-minute trailer of that. But let me tell you, he looks great in an animated series. And also we can use it, he's also in the board game, for example. So you can design a character once and use him in different platforms. Also, the thing I told you earlier, you bind the user to your IP. Yeah? So once the user is accustomed to your IP and he knows the characters, he knows your world and your story universe, you can keep him keep your user in your world, you know? I mean, this sounds kind of greedy, but yeah, and actually it is. But you try to keep your users in your world and so that they consume more. So yeah, and of course the team and the production has knowledge of the world. All our animators know how the characters work and stuff like that, and even the programmers know how the characters think and also that, and that keeps the production very smooth and very, you know, like, yeah, energized. So I see I have just 10 minutes left. I'm gonna speed up a little bit. That's the Inner World, our 2D point and click adventure. And yeah, we were nominated for the German Computer Game Award. Sadly did not win, but this was back 2012. We're gonna try again this year. And what's the Inner World? What is the Inner World? Well, it's a 2D point and click adventure game. And I skip these awful animation. Wait. Faster, faster. Yeah, now it's complete. Yeah. Basically, for the guys of you that do not know what an adventure is, an adventure game is you have screens, yeah, and then you can interact with different hotspots. You can talk to people, and basically you run around, talk to people, collect items, try to combine them, and solve riddles. So that is the inner world. That are the awesome features. They're only in German, but I can translate them at least in English. We got 5 chapters. It is totally non-stereoscopic, 2D. We have more than 22 screens and 324 hidden details and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it's an awesome game. And also the press thinks this. So this is the team, but the beginning team, where we were just like 9 people, but then the team grow over production. So in the high time of production, we were like 15 people, like musicians and sound designers, and yeah, it took a lot of effort to get this thing done. So yeah, let me just round up quickly the story. You play Robert. Robert lives in Asposia, and I have to remind you that our art director told me that this is not final artwork. This is very important to her. So, and Asposia, yeah, this. Asposia is a world inside a bubble. You see that? Like everything around Asposia is soil. And Asposia is being breathed by the so-called wind fountains. But Asposia has a big problem. These wind fountains stopped to work, so there came no wind out of it. And the wind is like the life-giving element of this world. And when the wind stopped, there also came the wind gods, the so-called basils. They came and petrified every sinner that did not obey the rules of this world. So as Robert, you go through Asposia and meet this beautiful lady. You also, of course, meet Peck the Pigeon. And yeah. You can play this game on many platforms. Basically, it's on touch devices on PC and Mac, and touch devices means just iOS devices. Oh yeah, the translation. So, what did we do from the technical side? I am the technical director, so I have to bore you with some technical details. As a little indie studio, you have like special needs to the technology you use, yeah. And especially as we did an adventure game, we needed it was very animation heavy. Yeah, we had lots of animations, and also the game logic was like yeah, a bit more special. We had no physics or stuff like that, but of course we had to be able, or our game designers had to be able to script the whole thing very quickly. So this is one point that was like an exercise for us. The other was that it had to be flexible, right? I mean, we were a small studio, we had no experience at all, and we were doing a big adventure game. So it had to be iterative as much as possible, you know. So yeah, and the other thing is we wanted to deliver with this technology for iOS and also desktop. So I went out and analyzed the existing systems, and this was once Unity 3D. Of course, there's Flash, and there's the Visionaire engine. Visionaire is like a point-and-click adventure engine where you can make your own adventures. But the problem back then was that Visionaire did not support mobile devices back then, and also it has a lot of problems, and especially if you have very much 2D animations. That's why we did our own engine for that. And yeah, this is the little hedgehog there is Fonk, and he's also a character in our game. And as he's very little and very flexible and very fast, that was the name giver for our engine. And our engine is called AdventureFonk. And we use a graphics engine that is powered by 2 awesome frameworks. There's one's the Sparrow and the Starling framework. The cool thing about that is that these 2 frameworks came from a Flash background. So you use all the Flash flexibility and stuff like that. But Sparrow is for iOS. It's native iOS. So it's as fast as possible as it gets. And Starling is in Flash, but it uses the 3D card. So you use all your old movie clips and stuff like that, but it's very powerful and runs just smoothly. How much time I have left? 5, cool. So yeah, with these 2 frameworks, my AdventureFonk that is built on top of them can support 2 versions. It's iOS and over Adobe Air. I can go to PC and Mac. It has all the adventure functionality in it, and yeah, sorry, this one missed. um, we also built some tools for the game designers that I'm gonna show you right now, and the tools use the same technology as the engine, and this is pretty amazing and awesome because, for example, we have, yeah, we'd be right there. Sorry for that. So, yeah. We have a character editor, for example, where the game designer and the animators could put all the animations in it and look how the character looks in the engine, actually. And he could look how it looks on the iPhone, on the iPad, and looks on the desktop simultaneously. And instead of rebuilding all these tools, we just use parts of our engine to do that. So you may ask yourself, but hey, come on, it's just an adventure game. What the fuck is so hard about it? Well, let me tell you that. That is Robert, and Robert is very smoothly animated, but has to be cut in little pieces to fit into that small phone. And this animation went very fast, yeah? But this is all the graphic parts of Robert, and it's not even all of it. So that's all of the animation parts of Robert. And we had to cut them in tiny little pieces, and so that all this stuff could work into the iPhone, for example. This is one of the tools I told you about, the character editor. And this is completely built in our adventure engine that, as I said earlier, built on top of these 2 graphic engines. And the thing is, you can use this tool on your iPad as well. So an animator could go home after work and say, okay, I'm not tired at all, and I can just make some expressions and stuff like that for the characters. So he took this tool that we have on our computers in the office and could just like test all the animations he did and combine them on his iPad while at home. Also, we had a dialogue editor because in adventures you often have multi-leveled dialogues, so you can talk with people about stuff. And of course, this is technically, it's XML and blah, 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 and a writer does not want to bother with stuff like this. So we built him a dialogue editor where he could, in engine, open the speech bubbles and just type in the text. And this was awesome for us because we did not have to port anything, and the author could write the text directly into the game. So how much time? I think 1, 2 minutes? 3 minutes. Oh, that's cool. So I just want to tell you how our experience was like self-publishing this stuff as an indie. First of all, we had to create buzz, and this is pretty hard because we've been developing this game for 3 years, and on day 1 we started bragging about, of course, we're like, hey, we start developing our own game, blah, 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 but it took us like 2 years to get any attention at all by the press and the media. So we were constantly blogging, we were constantly posting stuff on Facebook with 30 likes at the beginning, and this 30 like were our friends. And of course we also were on Twitter and like, oh, I'm here, we're doing a game, blah, blah, blah. But it was hard in the beginning, but on the long run it was very rewarding because now we have a fan base that is very engaged, that sends us fan art, that even makes their own packs, you know, to cuddle with and sends us picture from that. So yeah, also we had, it's good to have connections to the indie scene, you know, good to know all other developers. I mean, it's awesome for yourself, you know, to talk to other developers that have the same problem as well. High five indie guys over there. But it's also good for your game because you talk to other people, maybe they like your game, they talk to other people, and of course they show you their game, you talk to other people about their game, blah, 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 and then bam, your game gets another way, and their game gets another way as well. For example, I was talking to the Nihilumbra guys, I know now the Nihilumbra game, and I can talk to other guys I know, so hey, I've heard from that game, I've talked to the developers, it's a cool game. So maybe they will do that also, I remind you that. But that's a good thing too. So yeah, of course we did the developer diary, we posted screenshots, cover art, gameplay, and then when the game was nearly ready, we did a press release. This whole thing was done for like PR stuff to sell the game on our own page, and that's a good thing. I get this question a lot, and the people say, but you're selling your game, and your game is not artsy enough. Are you still indie? And I say, well, fuck you. Of course, I'm indie. Because to be indie does not mean that it's bad to sell your game. I need to buy food, I need to rent my flat, and hell yeah, if I get rich with it, why not? So, yeah, but probably I won't, but okay. So, yeah, as my time's over, and I don't want to bore you with blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, we got featured on Rock, Paper, Shotgun, that's cool. And we were in print magazine, that's cool also. So yeah, it's still indie, I have no time to talk about the inner future, blah, blah, blah. But for now, hey, are there any questions left?
Do you have some questions?
Yeah, please.
You said that you had some animated series going on.
Yeah.
Are you creating these animation series inside your team? Because that would be a huge amount of work for the artist.
Yeah, of course. The thing is, and I hope I have at least 1 minute later on to show you the trailer for our game, because there are some parts that maybe in the animated series as well. So, quick answer. The thing is, we started the concept for the series parallel to the game. So our writer that wrote the story for the game also wrote the story for the series, and our main animator in the game created the trailer for the series, and he would be the lead animator for the series. Of course, we could not produce both things as parallel, of course, but now that the game's done, our lead animator will be going to making the series, if we can produce it. So we are just talking to broadcasters right now, and looking for someone to finance it, yeah.
Thank you for your speech.
Yeah.
I have a short question. So, how much time did you spend on those Facebook and Twitter activities comparing to your main
development
duty?
work?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
And the second question: do you have a dedicated person who now runs these activities?
Yeah. Well, we would love to, but sadly we have no person dedicated for that. So it's like our producer. He when he's not doing all the financial stuff, he's just like answering Facebook posts and blah. He cares about that. I am in charge for Twitter, and for example, our art director Mareike is in charge for all these screenshots and blah blah. So we share the work, and the percentage is about. It depends, you know. In the beginning, it was just like, okay, 10% of the workday, something like that. But in the end, it grew bigger. Of course, and when release, and everyone was writing us mails and, I love your game, or I hate your game, you suck. And we had to say, yay. So, yeah, that's the thing.
Sorry, we don't have enough time to questions. You can find Alexander, it's the Indie Prize.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's thank to Alexander for his amazing lectures.
Okay. So, do we have 1 minute left? 1 minute? 1 minute? Oh, come on, 1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay, cool. Because as I told you about the series and stuff like that, I just wanted to show you the trailer for our game that also has some animations, and yeah, it's funny to watch. So here it goes.
What else can be said about the adventure genre the famous game designer Friedrich Nietzsche hasn't mentioned already? Nothing. Nevertheless, I'd like to introduce you to the inner world. Join Robert, the extremely cuddly main character, and set out on an epic journey exploring a world which couldn't be more round. But who is Robert? Where will Robert go? And why in the world Robert? You'll meet folks who not only are able to talk, they even have facial expressions. Adventure experts among you may have already guessed the whole schmear is made in excellent, hand-drawn, non-stereoscopic 2D. The game length is about 6 to 8 hours, with a probability of precipitation of 60%. And for really untalented players, there's an extensive help system, firing more game hints at you than the number of Let's Play videos you can find on the net. Belittlement, a wrongly denounced expression in our modern world, is one of the most effective instruments of the adventure genre. Adventures offer the great possibility to deal with topics like dictatorship, theft, or murder in a refreshingly unbiased way. Just try it out yourself. All right, in short, I highly recommend buying this great game. Now, before I do,
So yeah, the trailer basically sets also the humor of the world and the series as well. But just the series is like targeted more to little children. So yeah. But these animations were stuff like our lead animator did, and this is kind of the look that the series will have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.